with specialization in chemistry and having interest in water sports and represented Andhra Pradesh team in the national games. Being impressed and convinced by the teaching of His grace, His divine grace, his Bhaktivedanta Swami, the founder of ISKCON, he is practicing Krishna consciousness since last 30 years and actively preaching the same. He is a philosopher presenting seminars on various subjects like anger control, communication skills, and how to achieve success in the life, happy family, depression, and ecological issues, and various lifestyle related matters. The focus is how to find the balance in our work life and family life. We welcome you, sir. Please.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity and being with you all. Thank you so much. So see, time is short and we are going to start our discussion about stress management. One of the most familiar word in today's scenario. Basically, first we have to understand what is stress. So this is actually reaction. Stress is not an action. There are several actions in our personal life or professional life or business life, and stress is a reaction, how we react to those actions. So please be clear, we cannot control the action, that is not in our control, but the reaction is very much under our control. So stress is a reaction to certain situation, and because it is a reaction, we definitely have a control on that, provided we learn the art how to control it. Any physical, chemical or emotional factor that causes bodily or mental unrest. The gap between the expectation and the reality, more the gap, more the stress. So when the expectation is high, we have to excel. Today's scenario, more and more competition, very fierce competition among every industry and the individuals. Stress is not what happens to us, it's response to what happens. So as I said in the beginning, it's a reaction. So if we learn how to control that reaction, how our response to certain situations, then we can overcome this stress to a great extent. So the symptoms, as you see, there are different, you are big doctors and surgeons. So, usually what happens, any physical disease in our body, we come to a lab, get diagnosed, our blood test is stool, urine, etc. and we find out what is happening. But in recent past, in the human history, lot of psychosomatic or the psychological diseases has come up which cannot be directly traced out in these so-called different laboratory tests. So this is very difficult to be diagnosed in some certain type of blood or urine test. It's a mental situation. It's a consciousness which is affected. So due to the stress, there are bodily changes, mind, behavior, and the emotions. Now these are the symptoms. Actually, you people are more aware about the symptoms than I will tell about. But the highest or most noticed symptom of the stress is irritability or the anger, which we find, very, very frequent nowadays, whether in the house or with the colleagues or with the peers or with the patients. Okay? There are patients, but everyone is impatient. Anyone can just, small change makes them irritable or angry. So this is symptom of severe stress. It is found that more than 45% of the people, they become angry or irritable due to the stress. The manner in which one interprets or reacts to a perceived stress can vary often from far and wide. So, different people have different capacity to endure stress in their life. It's not same. Now, this is a twist here in our today's talk. Dear sir, we find here a big multi-story structure, right? And see, a simple example I would like to give is, especially at this point of junction, is when this building is under construction, once the first floor is laid, then immediately a person is called the structural engineer, and he calculates and he tells you that how much stress this building will be undergoing, and on that basis we will determine how much steel, how much cement, how much brick, etc. to be used for this, right? And then we build this building. My simple question is the cost of this building more or less in comparison to the other buildings, which may be single story or two story? Simple question. The cost of the two-story building will be higher or this? Yes, sir? This one, right? You all agree? Now, I can relate this after seeing the second one, or maybe this we can explain a little. Because this building is capable of enduring great stress, severe stress rather, right? That's the only difference. Because this building can sustain more stress, it is capable of standing its place, and then the value is more. So more stress we can sustain, more is our importance in the society, in our relevant field. We'll take another example, this diamond. I hope everyone can see this, right? The natural diamond, not the artificial diamond. And let me tell you how this natural diamond is produced by nature. This is a simple piece of stone which is lying under earth, thousands of miles under the surface for a very long time, hundreds and thousands of years. And because of that, the same simple stone is transformed in the form of a precious diamond. The same thing here also you see, the stone has sustained great amount of stress for a great period of time, for a long period of time. And due to that, that simple stone is transformed in the form of a very precious diamond. That's it. Another example of the soldier who is fighting at the border. If you just analyze or ask him, for sure he is under great stress. He is not knowing whether he will be seeing his wife back or not, about his kids, about his parents. What's going to happen, nobody knows. And how the opposite army is going to do, he has no idea about. So definitely the person is under severe stress. These three examples clearly depicts that stress, if we learn the art of enduring stress and using the stress, we can use the stress as a tool and grow in our life. Otherwise, the stress is going to ruin our life. And the choice is ours. So today I am not going to tell you that we will get a life where there is no stress. We see the people who are higher up in the management, for sure, if you ask them, you will find out they are under severe stress. Multitasking is the formula nowadays. People are doing 2 or 3 things at the same time. Attention is diverted. And this all results in stress. You have to give time to your family, to your peers, to your profession, and you want to justify all. Naturally, that results in stress. So the question is, the stress will be there, but how to minimize the stress and how to use the stress in our favor. Otherwise, the stress is going to ruin us. So we can use the stress and we can grow in our personality. So many diseases which are actually born due to stress. Almost all the major diseases in today's scenario are based on the foundation of stress. Yes. Poor concentration. This is all very obvious and maybe you people know better than me. Stress-induced hypertension, the effects of metabolic processes, hampered growth. The time is very less, so I will not be going in detail of each and every point and will be confined to our main goal and main subject. So these are the diseases. Actually all these diseases, sleep deprivation, irritable bowel syndrome, and now this is how it happens. Anxiety overload, blood vessels narrows, the increased heart rate and blood pressure, muscles tighten. So the moment the person is stressed, there is more secretion of adrenaline in the blood, and due to that, the inner wall of the artery contracts. The inner wall gets contracted, and it is very clear that once the inner wall is contracted, the passages become narrow, and the same amount of blood has to flow, and the passage has become narrow. Naturally, the blood pressure will increase. It's for sure. So there is increase in the blood pressure. Increase in the blood pressure and palpitations, sweating, etc. The cause of the stress, undefined objects and abstract goals. So many things which are not clear, especially in the professional life, and that also gives rise to severe stress in our life. Presence of God unrecognized, cause of the stress. So even the best of the doctors in this world cannot assure anything or guarantee anything, right? Because ultimately we are all dependent on the supreme power, in whatever name you call it, right? It is medical science is a science, but it is not the exact science. Exact science means 2 plus 2 is 4. That's going to happen, whatever the situation, external or internal. So medical science is science, but it is not the exact science. So you cannot predict for sure that this is going to happen like that. There are several such proofs. I would like to discuss them later on. Maybe feeling unappreciated or unrecognized. This is also one of the major cause of stress, because we are human beings. We have the thinking, feeling, and willing. So everyone wants to be recognized, to be appreciated for whatever contribution he has done, maybe physical or mental or emotional. So time to time, if we do not provide them that also causes results in stress. External factors which confront you, there are particular situations, maybe the people or the surroundings which becomes the cause of our stress. So people can better try to avoid them. And second is keeping the things for tomorrow. Anyhow, tomorrow also it is going to take the same time. So whether we address it today or tomorrow, it's all the same. So why not we address it as early as possible? In that way, we can avoid lot of stress. Because more we prolong it, more we delay it, more that consciousness will be always pinching our mind if we are sincere that I have to complete that. Okay? So better we try to complete it as early as possible without postponing for the next. How the brain responds. So this is the different glands and how they are secreting, the adrenal gland, the cortisol, and pituitary gland, how they secrete certain type of hormones which affects the blood and which causes the stress to increase. Chemistry of the stress, hormones, cortisol and epinephrine. The hormone regulating system is the endocrine system, and cortisol this affects, so this is all very well known to you all, maybe it does not require much of the explanation here. Now we go to the types of stress. This is the first type of stress, is called acute stress. The stress is due to the very recent past. Thus it's not very damaging. Due to certain situations, a very simple example is of the traffic jam. Suppose you have to perform some very special operation at 8 o'clock in this hospital, and you are coming from your house, and on the way you find a very traffic, and you are not able to come. Severely, what will happen? So much of stress. Okay, you are very much uncomfortable. So this is called acute stress. And once the traffic is over, you reach here, and after 2 days you just forget, was there any such instance? It does not affect your body, your physique, your consciousness. It is not that damaging. Second is this chronic stress. When the type of stress which is prolonged for long time or at a regular interval, this is called chronic, and this is the stress which is really dangerous and harmful to our body, our consciousness and the body. Emotions. Now we see the types of stress on the basis of how they are affecting our psychology and physiology. So there are two types in this category. One is positive and another is negative. The very simple example I have used here, you see this is of the Olympics. There are so many athletes who are running, right? And there is a severe competition. And everyone has the experience that every 4th year they are going to break their previous records, right? So it's very simple, because there is competition, there is stress, and the result is their performance is increasing wonderfully, right? So once we take the stress in a positive way, we can really harness our life we can develop our skills. Okay? So stress is not always bad. Again, previously also I have shown how the stress is positive, and we have to learn the art of enduring stress. Later on in today's discussion, we will find out the root cause of the stress. It's not that the human brain, let me please, because you are doctors and very learned people of the society, so it's a wrong notion that the brain is stressed out. Brain is capable of lot more. So it's not due to that. We'll find out the real cause of the stress in subsequent slides. So this example of the sprinters, how they break their previous records and they come up. So this is the positive stress, and the positive stress improves our functionality and performance. So this is not bad. See what happens when there is no stress. A person becomes lethargic, just relaxing, right? And when there is optimum stress, his performance is best. Is that clear? So it's not that stress is always bad. This is the point I want to establish. Okay? And when the stress is excessive, beyond that certain person's capacity to endure the stress, then it hampers his life and it creates lot many physical elements or diseases. So if you control the stress, it will make you strong. But if the stress controls you, it's going to destroy. Very simple formula. If you control the car, if you can drive and control your car, you are going to reach your destination. Okay? And if you cannot control the car, then also you will be coming here. But in a different form, right? Sorry. In other places I can say that, but here it's true. Anyhow, the person has to come to the hospital. Okay? So not as a doctor, but as a patient. So if we do not have the control on the subject, it's going to spoil our life. So stress is also certain such thing. If we can control the stress, the same stress will be the cause of our progress in the life, as we have seen in the example of these athletes. Or if we do not have the control on the stress, the same stress is going to spoil and ruin our life. So the thing is very simple, and we are going to talk today how to control the stress, how to overcome stress, what is the root cause of the stress. And to a great extent you will find that it's true and relevant. Know your stress limits, stressometer, like we have the speedometer. Disclose. So these are the tips. Please be attentive. These are the simple tips which are very, very, very strong and very much true. If we just apply these tips, we do not need any side medicines or some chemical in our body to overcome the stress. They will relieve us from the stress for sure. So the first is, disclose your heart and feelings to someone you trust, like a family member or good friend. Okay. So this is the first thing. We require a proper friendship or relationship, a true relationship, and that will relieve our stress. Therefore, people require real loving relationship. A simple definition I would like to give about the love, which people have lot of misunderstanding. Love is selfless. Love is selfless. When there is a desire to please the beloved. So that type of love I am talking about. So once we have relationship where we can exchange our feelings, we can disclose our heart, definitely it will relieve the stress to a great extent. Special effort to organize your life and preferences. This is another thing. Most of the people, they are not properly organized. They do not know what are their preferences. Until we set our preferences and give them priority according to that, we will be confused in our life and definitely it will create a lot of stress. So definitely one should first set his priority. For example, being in profession of medicine, your first priority is your profession. The life of a patient is in your hands. So if you don't set a priority and if you are confused about what is next, definitely it will create a lot of stress and anxiety. So everyone should set his priorities 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Learn to say no in the best possible way. Suppose you take so many commitments which is not just practical. So instead of keeping that stress in the mind, please tell them to excuse in advance. So at least you are relieved. You are not feeling guilty or you are not feeling stressed out. So this is another thing, very simple tip. If you can find out if you are occupied, please say them, no, it's not possible. Ask for help, a timely help. If you seek from your friends and colleagues, that will help a lot. Maybe the things could be delegated. If a lot of things you can delegate to your family members also, maybe your wife, maybe your husband, maybe your children, which they can do on your behalf. Okay, that will also help you to relieve the stress to a great extent. We can just learn these tips and we can apply them. Stressors and the stress, delegate the responsibilities at the right moment. Measures to reduce stress: manage your anger. Do not allow the anger to manage you. This is very simple. If the anger is managing you, you are not speaking actually. You are omitting fire. Because that time you just burn all the relationships and the life becomes more miserable. So this is something very important. As we have seen in the previous slide, 45% of the effect of the stress is irritability and the anger. So and this anger, once he overpowers us, our consciousness, what happens? We do not know what we are talking, and what we don't mean also we speak out, and we realize the result in due course. So this is very dangerous symptom of anger. So one should try to control the anger. There are certain tips to control the anger. Maybe we can discuss some other time. But this is really very important. We learn the art of controlling the anger. There is a very simple, very small story I will say. One person was asking to his guru or the master, why it is that people, when they are angry, they are speaking so loud. They start shouting. And the reply came, when they are angry, actually the distance between them increases considerably. And because the distance increases, they start shouting. Got my point? Now we are sitting so close, maybe 4 feet. But if I am angry with you, actually this becomes 45 feet. And when it is 45, one has to shout. Is that clear? Now, measures to reduce stress: avoid people and situations which stress you out. Take charge of your situation. Have confidence that you are at the driver's seat. So never give up. Do not give up your confidence. The moment you give up your confidence that you can control, you are gone. So always have the hope and confidence that you are the driver's seat and you can control the stress. Prioritize your activity list. This is one of the most important slides for today. Prioritize your activity list: physical, chemical and emotional. This is what the root cause of stress is. In the present scenario, everyone wants economic development. This is the only formula for today. And in that pursuit, people are ignoring their personal lives. Everything at the cost of the personal life. You all must have the experience. Yes or no? You want to increase your working hours more and more, right? Less time to sleep and take rest, and the least time for the family matters, right? So there is imbalance in the life, and that imbalance is the root cause of stress in everyone's life. Trying to study but not studying, this is what happens due to the stress. It is found by the psychologist that anyone can concentrate on his subject for not more than 40 to 50 minutes at a stretch. Just if you try to prolong, you will not be able to give the quality attention. And once you are not able to give the quality attention, it is useless. So, recommendation is take a break, a healthy break. We will show you what is called by the healthy break. Regular breaks needs to be a part of your daily routine, work and life. Should be a balance. That's what I told in the beginning. It requires a proper balancing. If you do not have the balance, it will be out, right? You have two wheels, left and right. Okay, four wheels in a car. If the balance is out, definitely you are going to make the accident. Similarly, the life has to be balanced between the personal and professional. There may be problems in the life. No one can assure that there will be no problems in the life. The simple example I have used here is of a washing machine. You put your dirty clothes in a machine, switch it on, it takes time, and after a certain amount of time, maybe 2 hours or 2.5, you open it and you find fresh, nice cloths. Yes or no? Correct? Yes. So, but in these 2 hours, inside the machine, lot of operations are going on, right? Lot of detergents, lot of stirring, okay? And after that, the result is nice fresh cloths. Similarly, that is our life. There may be turbulence, there may be disturbance, there may be situations beyond our control which causes us disturbance. But if you keep patience, that will be over in course of time. Again, the life will be enjoyable. Don't give up. Another thing to make it more clear, I will say, suppose it is mid of the night at 2 p.m. You wake up 2 a.m. and you try to see the sun. Can you see that? Whatever you do in this world, you may be any person, the biggest person may be Obama or Clinton or whatever, Gates, okay? But you cannot see. Nobody on earth can see. They have to wait for sun to appear, right? Similarly, the situations are beyond our control. When the situations are beyond our control and you are getting stressed out, what is the use? Suppose tomorrow Pakistan declares war and you are stressed out, what could be done? Right? So please do relax when you do not have the control. Reduce your intensity and your emotional reactions to the stress. Now, this is the most important thing of the subject today, the low salt intake. The stress is more because of the higher salt intake in our body. Most of the people they have, it is found, I have so many research, but the time is very short. Avoid refined sugars and carbohydrates. See sir, I'd like your attention here. Okay? You can see these items which are shown on the screen. Someone on the back side can read it aloud. What are the items? Please, fast. I was asked by Mr. Srikanth that is there some interaction, but I want your attention fully on this subject. This is the root cause of the stress. Okay? Please see these items. Mr. Santanu? Yes? Please?
Yes, biscuits, bread, you can have some toast is there, coffee is there.
Yes. Very good. So I hope the things are clear to you all. Now let me tell you, sir, all these subjects, all these items are very rich in added sugar, number one. Okay? I have a great length of study material with me, and maybe you people know it far better than me, because this added sugar is the root cause of all this imbalance, and hundreds and so many types of mental diseases. It just acts as like cocaine. Okay? It is so addictive. More you take, sometime in your body there will be, in the brain there will be more secretion of the dopamine, and after 2 hours it's going to come down. And again you will have an intense craving for more. Got my point? So when the intensity increases, you will again eat more. And once you eat more, you will be relieved for some time, again it will come down. Right? Got my point? So there is a cycle. Most of the people, they enter in this cycle of high and low. They do not know how to come out. They end up in eating more and more fats and carbohydrates, which has no fiber. Got my point? And the result is, the brain is affected a lot. Okay? This is the root cause of the stress. The body is not able to endure that. All these food items, especially a lot could be talked about these so-called soft drinks. Actually, none of them are soft. They are the hardest drink. We'll show this video. Sorry. Yes, Rekha? Okay, fine. Sound is attached.
Chicken McNuggets may be good, but they have been found to contain a silicone oil that is also used for making contact lenses and medical devices. Don't worry though, the chemically engineered silicone oil is non-toxic, but does that mean it's still good to eat? Johns Hopkins University researchers tested chickens that supply fast food chains and found a long list of prescriptions added to chicken feed as additives. Some such as antidepressants, antibiotics, arsenic, and allergy medications. Do you like green foods? Well, McDonald's uses propylene glycol to preserve their pre-packaged salads, so they stay nice and crisp as they may sit there for days. The same chemical is also used in antifreeze and vapor liquid for e-cigarettes. Apple pie. Cysteine L, an amino acid synthesized from human hair or duck feathers, is used to create artificial flavors for meat and help soften mass-produced breads or pastries. McDonald's uses this in their apple pie and other baked goods. Silicon dioxide, also known as sand, has plenty of uses in industrial space, such as manufacturing glass, fiber optic cables, and cement. It's also used in the fast food field to prevent clumping. It's what allows the yummy Wendy's chili to sit in the pot for so long without turning into a big lump. Dimethyl polysiloxane is pretty much in every fried item you get at any fast food joint you go into. The same silicone compound is found in Silly Putty, a children's toy, but the fast food industry uses it to reduce the fryer oil from getting foamy. Tertiary butylhydroquinone, also known as TBHQ, comes from petroleum and is mostly used in cosmetics, skincare products, lacquers, and resins. TBHQ has been found in 18 menu items at McDonald's. It took years for TBHQ to be approved for human consumption by food manufacturers. The FDA only allows the chemical to be 0.02% of a food's oil and fat because 5 grams of it is lethal. Cellulose, produced from wood pulp, is used in plenty of processed foods used by fast food chains. It's in everything from ice cream, syrups, salad dressings, and much more. It's used as a thickener and a way to use less flour and oil, which are more expensive. Pretty much every fast food place you can think of uses it. Ammonium sulfate is a soil fertilizer that is used to feed yeast while baking mass-produced breads for fast food chains. Eating the same stuff that is meant to kill bugs definitely can't be good for you. Carminic acid is synthesized from cochineal beetles and is most known for red food coloring. To make it, the beetles are dried out and crushed to extract the red properties from it to use for dyes. These dyes are used in meats, sausages, bakery products, toppings, marinades, desserts, and much more.
Now this is caffeine curve. Most of the people, to relax, to get over the fatigue, they take the coffee or tea. Okay, my dear sir, 1, 2 is alright. You get high, and once you are high, again it comes to low. Time is very short, I am running fast, okay? The alcohols, the people are upgraded. The simple formula of any type of intoxication, you start with tea, you are upgraded to coffee. When the coffee starts working on you, you are upgraded to beer, and then you get upgraded to alcohols. And from the alcohols to acid and heroin and so on. And ultimately, suicide. That's it. So, that is not the solution of the problem. Yes, again you can try this. One more. Yes, one more video.
Get ready for some not-so-sweet news. The average American consumes more than 100 pounds of sugar each year. I'm Lindsay Lippman with your latest health news. A new study found that added sugar in the U.S. diet contributed to the rising rate of type 2 diabetes. If you want to avoid adding more sugar into your diet, you should limit processed foods and eat whole foods instead, like fruits and vegetables. The research team wants a change in dietary guidelines that would allow for a smaller portion of daily calories to come from added sugar.
Yes, so eat more of the fresh foods. They are rich and they are more recommended. More vegetables, fruits, complex carbohydrates, drink more water. It's readily available in everyone's reach. Minimum of 8 hours of rest every day. That's recommended. And exercise or pranayam minimum for 25 minutes a day. If you do not, the choice is yours, but then you will pay a bigger price. Okay? Nothing is shortcut in this life. Count what you lost, not what you lost, what is left. Learning process, very important. If you want to stay young in your life, the only formula is keep on learning. This is Socrates saying. Okay? The moment you start learning the new things, you get old. Break your goals in realistic milestones. Stress is experienced when you feel things are not in control, no for sure. Okay, this is the situation of most of the people. In the office they think of the house, and in the house they think of the office. Is it not a common experience with you all? So people with strong social support, friends, religious and organizations, most important point of today. A very strange word in the lives of you all. Outer net. Did you ever hear it before? Yes or no? Correct. I'm right. Please come out from these tentacles and clutches of internet. This is spoiling your life. I have deep researched how it consumes your consciousness, how it takes your time, how it completely degenerates your thought process. Okay, I will not go in detail. But this is what is very important because time is limited. Have relationship with the animate beings. Do not spend time with dead matter like TV or computer system. This is the biggest mistake most of the people are doing in today's scenario. Okay. After the work life, we gave the next priority to these two, either of the two, or now these latest, high-end mobiles. All these things are the dead elements. They have no life. And once you interact with the dead element, you cannot expect some feeling of happiness. Your ego may be satisfied, your heart will not be satisfied. Try to understand this meaning. You buy a new gadget, your ego is satisfied, your envious mentality is satisfied, but your heart will not be pacified. If you want the heart to be pacified, you require some exchange with your family members, your wife, your spouse, your kids, your colleagues. Is that clear? Yes, we'll have one more. This is the last. We'll conclude. As Mr. Santanu asked me to conclude by... Yes, sir, I need your help again. Some problem. Yes.
Here's an expert with a lowdown on the inside facts. Dr. Orestes Caldwell, editor of Electronic Industries and former member of the Federal Communications Commission.
I'm glad to have this opportunity to speak to you men and women in the service of America. I believe in this world to come. I think it's going to be a pretty good world. But I've been asked to tell you about television, so I've trimmed the philosophizing. Television is most certainly here to stay. It's going to brighten the world of your home. But more important to many of you, it's going to create a lot of new jobs. Now, none of us like crystal gazing, so let's take a look at what is actually happening now.
A 49-year-old unidentified man went berserk last
Where does she get her people to work?
shotgun. 14 people are dead, including
Who will be her role models? What values will she have? Whose child is she? Yours or the network's? Take back your children. Turn off the TV.
Even though he is retired, Colonel John B. Alexander still works today at Los Alamos National Laboratory in a capacity that is not clearly defined, as does NSA General Michael Aquino. Both personalities have extensive study in the application of non-lethal, extremely low-frequency weapons in attacking the populations and armed forces of enemy nations. Whether these terrible weapons that were supposed to have been turned against our implacable enemies have instead been turned against our very own people is difficult to prove given the nature of the weapons involved. Thousands of American citizens have been publicly claiming for years that they are under attack from a directed energy weapon that attacks their physical bodies and their central nervous systems.
The longer a person watches television, the more easily the brain slips into alpha level, a slow, steady brainwave pattern in which the mind is in its most receptive mode. Images and suggestions are implanted directly into the mind without viewer participation. An effective hypnosis is induced, and the viewer surrenders to the unending television image stream.
Psychological warfare has been waged against America for much of this century. This war for the mind of the public has been facilitated by the emergence of mass media and the transformation of American education by behavioral psychologists. In the book 1984, George Orwell warned that people were...
Sorry, sir. Thank you. Time is over. So, any type of clarification you want, you can please ask. Feel free. Yes.
Let us take, Prabhuji, let's take a question from the other units because as I told you, other units are also connected.
Oh, really? Amazing.
So, first we'll go to Nampalli unit.
Yes.
Here, Nampalli. Any question, please?
Yeah, very good morning. It was a wonderful lecture. Thanks to the Guruji, and definitely we have a lot of questions, but time is concerned now. As we have the time, very short time for taking a lot of questions from our team. Definitely we will get connected again, and a lot of direct questions are there, and also we have, we require some clarity on chronic stress.
Yes.
Which is there for 1-2 years. What is this chronic stress, and how do we avoid this kind of chronic stress and all?
The chronic stress is actually a result of the stress which is prolonged for a long duration. So if you follow these formulas, actually our mind is lot more capable. We are hardly using 1,000th portion or strength of our mind. We can exploit. Human brain is so much capable. But actually that is completely drained out by all these external things which I have shown. I want to talk a lot. So if you just relax and if you practice certain pranayams and mantras, it enhances your capacity to work, the consciousness and the concentration of the mind. More concentration, because I will really appreciate, especially the doctors and surgeons. Sometimes I see what type of miraculous surgery they perform. It requires so much of precision. So your profession requires a lot more concentration. And this concentration is possible once we know the art of using our mind to the maximum and best degree. And this is possible with the practice of mantras and pranayam. This is proven. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your question.
Any more question from Napal?
Thanks, sir. No more questions like we have, but time is concerned.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to K.R. Bushiraban.
Wonderful.
Any question, please?
There is no question from Mushrabad, but it was a wonderful presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's come to K.R. Banjara. Yes, please. Any question from K.R. Banjara? So, would you like to add or something? So, let's conclude the session and thank you, Prabhuji, for your time. Go to Vishnu.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all for being present here today. During the session, I was a little keen about stress. We usually have sessions on stress management here in Friday and Saturday sessions. So, going through an article, I just saw something, a survey done in US. It was done by Institute of Stress, American Institute of Stress. So, their findings in the study, it showed that 75% of the stress is due to people issues and workplace stress, workplace issues, and the rest of the 25 due to our household lives and our interaction at home. So, like we being in healthcare, we deal with patients. There are a lot of emotions flowing around in the organization. The patients come in with stress, and we are overloaded with work. We are also having stress in our work life. So, like the points which Guruji shared, actually, I believe that these things bring to us some light and how to manage stress in our workplace. And there was also one fact that in US, stress is also considered as an occupational hazard for the policemen working over there. If somebody is diagnosed or has some incidents, has some problem related to stress issues, so these things are considered as a workplace or occupational hazard which has happened to that employee. So I would like to thank Sir for giving such a wonderful presentation, and I request Colonel Rajgopal Sir, Chief of Human Resources, to please come and hand over a small memento.
I have a small request. I have a small booklet which depicts all these slides and a write-up on them. It's costing only 25 rupees. If you want, you can carry for yourself and your friends and relatives, whoever. It is available with our devotees. You can take anyone if you want. Thank you.